Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jenn Mertland and Monica Weekly.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. What's up, Jennifer Mertland?
What's up, Monica? Excited for this guest.
Okay, this is a hot topic right now because guess what's coming back?
Houses, baby.
Open houses, baby. Guys, we need to get back into this mode of open houses, and we've forgotten how to behave in an open house and how to convert, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And Jen, you have brought an amazing guest just for this topic. Introduce us to Agent B, please.
Agent B is the team leader, Brian Bartholomew team, brokered by Circa Properties in North Fullerton, California, and he is going to share with us the seven critical questions.
Or North Orange County and Fullerton.
Did I say North Fulton? Oh, yeah. Fullerton, North Orange County, near Disney. Yes?
Yep, that's right. Near Disney.
You know what? Any lead in California, send it to Brian. He'll take care of it. Tell you where to go. The whole state.
Before the whole state falls off into the ocean, give it to Brian. He'll handle it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Brian, thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was excited when I've reached out to you guys a while back and part of the Fight Club. I love this. It's like,
yeah, let's fight.
Let's go.
Right.
Do it.
So talk to us about, because I think what I've seen from agents that hold open houses is there's not really like a lot of marketing going into it. When they come, they're just like, hey, sign in here. Maybe they won't even do that. And like, that's it. But how can we maximize this opportunity to get leads and convert leads?
Right. I mean, starting at the kind of the beginning, marketing is definitely important, but because we know 21, 22, was kind of just a crazy time. You'd hold an open house and have 150 people there.
Right.
And you couldn't keep track of anybody. And so these are like, we have like 7 qualifying questions. I think there's like a 2A, 2B, but everything's kind of fluid, but there's like 7 critical questions we ask people just to kind of get in their head and relax them and kind of build some trust and, with them. But it's
to see if they're even a good viable lead, right? Because you're still having looky-loos.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, the neighbors come, but even the neighbors are important because you never know. You want to get their info because we've been in open houses. Everybody has us watching this where someone says, yeah, come check my house out. So you don't want to discount anybody, but these questions will get you through somebody in a few minutes, and then you can move on to the next. And then if you need to come back to them. So that's really important. So really the first thing is obviously they come in the door, you introduce yourself. How are you? What's your names? And then it's kind of like, hey, where do you currently live? Or I might say, do you live in the area? Just to kind of get an idea of where they're coming from is the most important thing, And so they might say, oh, like I'm in Fullerton. They might say, oh, well, yeah, we're in Corona. We're looking to move this way. It's like, okay, great. How long have you lived there? And just kind of establish what their kind of pattern is, but just relax them a little bit. Some like disarming questions. And right from there, say, oh, we've been there about 4 or 5 years. We have kids. Great. And really important to ask because for the purchase is going to be important, and maybe another secondary deal is going to be, well, do you rent right now or do you own the home you're in?
Okay, so
because
you're just digging about their
question. What's that?
You're trying to find out about their current living situation without it being attached to the move in any way.
Well, plus that could be, is this person ready to go now, or are they 6 months away? Do they need to sell a house? Are they in a rent that they can't get out of for another 9 months? Because then that's a conversation. Hey, can you talk to your landlord and see if you can pay to get out early if you found the perfect home? So you can kind of, it's almost like the tree just starts to grow from there. The branches start to go from there. But that's like question 2 and 2, or 2A and 2B is where do you live, or how long have you lived there, and do you currently own or rent? And then I always like to ask them, well, before you were there, especially they say, well, we've only been there 2 years. Say, oh, where were you before that? It's kind of like when we first came on, in the background here before we jumped on, it's like, where are you from? Oh, wow, you're from, Columbus, Cleveland. Well, hey, you haven't hit Cincinnati and the Highline Chili here, whatever, Skyline Chili.
Skyline. Yeah.
So you're blowing whatever the ice cream is there that's famous too.
Raiders.
So, there it is. So it's kind of like you're trying to establish kind of a chain for them and get them to tell you something about themselves. So now you're on a personal level.
Are you doing this before you let them in the door?
No, well, I'm doing it right there with them if I can. But like I said, an open house, there might be people that didn't sign in, and people don't like to sign in. So I might be walking up to people and saying, "Oh, what do you think?" And then go through the questions with them. It could be,
Brian, block the door. Don't let them in. I got 7 questions before I let you in.
Well, that's going to be difficult, But I mean, these open houses get busy. But the thing is you don't want to lose the opportunity to walk up to somebody. And these are 7 great questions to ask them. So it doesn't matter where it is, because people are going to try to sneak by you.
And I want people to notice you're not asking, like, are you working with an agent? No, you're finding out who they are, where they live. Like, you're just finding out more about them.
Remember, it's like with any lead. You want to build a relationship. You don't just want to go, "Hey, you looking to buy or sell?" No, click. It's like Tom Ferry used to be real hardcore. Or Grant Cardone, or these guys would be like, if they're not going to buy or sell, just boom, hang up on and go to the next one. It's like, no, you don't want to go to the next one. You want to build a relationship with these people because
date them a little,
I've got buyers coming back to me now that I haven't talked to in 2 years, but I did this with them 2 years ago or a year ago. And suddenly they're like, "Hey, we really liked you. We met you. We want to work with you now."
Yeah. And you never know if they have a daughter or a niece or somebody, and they just liked you a lot. And they're like, "You know what? My daughter is actually looking. I'm going to connect you with her."
Correct. And you do have a lot of parents looking first.
Yeah.
Because maybe their kids are out of town, they're moving for a job or whatever it is. Because, dad always wants to make sure his daughter's taken care of. Is it safe? Is it this? Is it so? I get a lot of that. A lot of clients that it's the siblings of or the daughter, son of type of thing, of course. Yeah. So you're trying to build
I like the idea of, like, you're right. A lot of people don't necessarily want to sign in, but if you're walking around with it, it kind of opens up the conversation, right? Yeah. Like, "Oh, what's your name? My name is Brian. Like, nice to meet you. Oh, you guys live nearby?" Like, it's normal conversation. It's not like you're not a robot. Like, here are my questions.
It's kind of like the old, like if you heard of Ricky Carruth, and he's got the FE, the friends and family effect. You're just don't should be talking to them like you know them, or like, and if it's like, "Hey, we're busy, we don't want to talk to you," it's like, "No problem. Hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to answer your question. I'm not here to hound you. I never said buy this house, sign here, anything. I just want to know about you and see if I can help you with something, and just see if we're a good fit for each other."
So what else are you asking them?
Yeah. So after that, after the where did you live prior to that, I might say, what made you choose the home you're in now?
I like that question.
So is it the location? Was it, you loved having a fireplace? Was it the light? Was it the open floor plan? And that can lead again into branches out of, well, what are you looking for now in a home? And what do you really want in that space type of thing? And so you can see if the house that you're doing the open house for doesn't really fit their needs, or, hey, well, let's go out and find it.
Right.
So that's always a good one. And then really, is this location, it's kind of like if you were to move, what areas do you want to be in? Is this the area you want to be in? Or is this, because some people might just come to an open house because they're on the way home from somewhere and they saw the signs.
Right.
Because I'll put like 70 open house signs out. I mean, they stretch out everywhere. People will just be like, "Oh my God, I followed your signs. It took like 10 minutes to get here."
Oh my gosh.
And so they'll be in the area. They have nothing to do with the house. They just want to check it out. This isn't the area, but you want to find out where are they looking. And is that someplace that you're working as a realtor? I'm sure it is if they're kind of around. But that way, when you get down to the time to work with them, you kind of have a basis on where you're going. And then
hold on. How many signs do you put out?
About 70.
Not one in front of the house?
No, we go all the way out to wherever the next major street is.
Yeah.
Start in from there, type of thing. I mean, and like when you're driving down the street like this way and you're looking to the corner, there might be 3 or 4 signs like 15 feet apart with flags on, like boom, 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 boom. So it's really like 80 feet from the corner. They're like, "Holy crap, there's a lot." And on the other side, the same thing, there may be one on the other corner. So on a corner, you might have 10 signs.
Yeah.
Leading every direction. So you get those people that just that foot traffic that really, can turn into a later lead. They're probably not going to buy that house, but it's something for later. And that's what people understand with an open house. You're like, they go in with the idea of, I'm doing this open house to sell this house. And the open house, I don't know the stat is, it's got to be less than 20% of the people that walk in the door actually buy the open house. It's gonna be much less.
I think it's less than 2%.
5.
Yeah.
Or 2. Yeah. It's low.
Pretty rare that you get, but 90% of those people are going to be buying a house, maybe 100% within the next, 5 years. So
selling. There's a lot more, there's a lot of sellers at open houses too, which I think a lot of people don't take advantage of, because the questions that you're asking, the way you're asking, it's not a hard sell. It's a conversation. You're finding out more about them. And based on the responses, you're gauging, like, are they really a lead, or are they just somebody who's bored? Are you the entertainment?
Right. No, absolutely. And so that idea of kind of, if you could move, where could you go next? That would lead us into question 6 and 7, so it's just going into those things, you're leading up to each item. Then it might be, they tell you, we're looking to move into Fullerton area. And then it's kind of like, when are you thinking about doing that? Mm-hmm. Because that's going to be the most important thing, obviously, for a realtor to know. And knowing too that most people maybe they don't know, or they're not being completely truthful with it, because I'm still like a year out.
Yeah, wrong.
When if they found the perfect house tomorrow, they would go get pre-approved.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's kind of important to get that timeline, so if they're rushing, not ready. A lot of them be like, we're just starting the process, which is my favorite people. Because then, then again, you can branch out. Do you have a lender? Do you need this? Do you need that? You can kind of get them in.
Or what other houses have you seen? What did you like about those? What did you not like about those? Because I noticed that, you're not asking, are you working with an agent? You're asking questions.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I mean but that's going to get to the end, because that's when you absolutely qualify them. But I mean, perfect what you just said, because I had someone in the house the other day at this listing I have. It's like a $2 million listing. This lady comes in with her
parents.
That's
nothing in California. That's a grocery.
That's a picture. But these people
castle in Ohio.
Yeah, there you go. But the people walk in the door and they've been, and I kind of go through the questions with them. They said, we've been looking since before COVID. So I started going through, what houses have you seen and what kept you from buying for 3 years?
Right.
Well, some are too big, some are too small. They're going through everything. And so I was kind of like, this has that. Well, this has that. Right. Well, this has that. Well, kind of going through it with them and seeing if we can get maybe an offer on that house. But if not, following up with them to keep moving forward with other properties.
Do our consultation, buyer agreement. Well, I think this is a good place to take a break, and then we can hear the next. What do we have? 2 more questions? Is that right? Couple more questions.
And I've got some questions too. So let's come back to
Monica's questions. All right. Well, let's take a break here. A quick word from our favorite partner, and when we return, we'll get Monica's questions out of the way.
Hey guys, Monica here. I want to talk to you about one of the favorite partnerships and tools that I have in my real estate business, and you're going to want it in your real estate business too. It's Achosa Home Warranty. The best in the business, guys. They're different. And after all, isn't that what we want? Something that finally works for our homeowners. Achosa does a couple things different, but the one thing I want to highlight right here is that they let you choose your own contractors. Yes! That's what Achosa means after all, the ability or the power to choose. And so when your homeowner has something that needs fixed, they can call their own vendor, their own contractor. They can have them come in and get the quote, and right there on the spot, call the Achosa Home Warranty customer service, and they will approve the work right then and there, and your contracting can get started, and the problem can be solved, and we're out the door. Isn't that awesome? So Achosa Home Warranty, guys, here's what you need to know. We're using a code, Fight Club. Use code Fight Club when you sign your buyer or seller up, and that will give them $25 off their policy. $25 off with Fight Club. If you need to call, here's their number, 888-509-2916, 888-509-2916, Achosa, A-C-H-O-S-A, Home Warranty. Fight Club for $25. Go get it. Welcome back to the battle inside of the ring. I mean, nobody's really fighting here because this is just common sense stuff, but I think agents miss it, Brian. I think they try to go for the jugular or something, or try to convert them on the spot instead of just thinking of this as a time to connect. create trust, create a connection, understand a little bit about where
this is
they
so
are.
painful for me.
I know Jenn doesn't want to do this shit at all. It's like, are you buying this house or not? Get out.
Well, remember too, I mean, what you're saying is it's painful for agents, but a lot of it, especially newer agents, kind of just hand a flyer to somebody and say, hey, let me know if you have any questions.
Don't
so
do
really,
that.
I very rarely have any kind of a property flyer at my open houses.
Because you want to follow up.
Right? They say, oh, you don't have a flyer? I say, no, I'm the flyer. The seller is paying me to make sure I answer all your questions. So any questions you have, I can walk that through it with you. And so a lot of times I don't even give a flyer out. Or if I do give a flyer out, very minimal information, no price. So many people, there's no price on this. I said, no, I know that. So that's because I want you to talk to me. And so you can ask me a couple questions. You can ask me.
I like that.
It's like give them a pen. Hey, you write this down. Here's the price. Here's my card. Here's this. Here's that. So it's just you have to get them engaged somehow. If it's the old school open house of walk in the door, grab the flyer, thank you so much, and I'm going to walk up and do my thing.
Yeah.
You're never going to pick up leads from open houses. There's some people in our office that, man, they go into open houses, they just kill it. They get buyers, they get sellers, they get listings, and I'm pretty good at it. I pick up a lot of buyers every once in a while, listing here and there, but there's some people that just, it's a mother and son team in our office. They just, they really know how to work everybody in the place. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let me ask you this. Do you get their contact information in some way?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we got to the point, so we were asking these questions. So, last one we left off on was kind of like, their timeline, and looking for those type of things. And then I never ask, are you working with an agent? My question is going to be like that last qualifying question might be something like, well, who's been showing you homes so far? Or how have you set up your search so far? Something like that, because they might say, oh, my sister's an agent, or, oh, we've got a great agent. And I'm okay, what's their name? And a lot of times, well, it's gosh, and they can't remember their agent's name. And I'm like, you know what? You need to have a better relationship with your agent. My clients know me as Agent B, or they know Brian Bartholomew or the Bartholomew team. I said, you can't remember your agent's name. You've been working with for a while. So it's just like a lot, and I'll get people eventually, I really like this guy. Instead, we'll work with him. Not to try to steal them away, get into the fight club, but not trying to take them from
the
them.
chances of them having a signed buyer agreement with the agent is very low.
Zero. And I do it with all my clients, but very few people do it. So
instead of asking, are you working with an agent? You're asking, who's been showing you homes?
How have you been viewing homes so far?
How have you been viewing homes? And then do you have some sort of automated search going on?
And I'll say, and they say, well, no, we've just been kind of looking online. I say, okay, well, what sites you on? I might steer them to a better site, or I might say, hey, we've got this great, like we've got Real Scout, or we've got, this search engine that we use to our office. I'd love to, I can send you the link for it, and you can go and set up a search there, because with it, you can get really granular, and you can get down to like schools and grocery stores next to you, and walkability, and not just 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they can really go to the next level with it. And so I'll try to get them into that system as quickly as possible. Once they tell me they're not really working with an agent, then I'll say, well, you need someone to help you with the search. Oh, I can just do it on my own. Say, well, where are you at? They'll, oh, I'm on Zillow. I'm like, a lot of the properties on Zillow, they don't update those things. They kind of stink.
Or like, have you found, even asking them, like, have you found that when you went to go look at a property that you found on Zillow, it was already gone? And you're like, yeah. And you're like, right.
Yeah, right.
Would you like to see them before they're gone?
Yeah, exactly. So once they give me kind of the idea of they're not working with anybody, and you can kind of sense from people, they don't do this anymore. They're not like turned away from you. They're facing you, the kind of body language reading. And at that point, it's like, well, hey, look, I would love to help you out. If there's anything I can help you out with, why don't we do this? What? And I just ask them, what's your best phone number? And if I can't get a hold of you by phone, what's your best email address, so I can go ahead and send this information to you about this house, anything else in the area? Because I know and I tell them, look, we got over 150 agents in our office locally, and we've got like 3 other offices in Southern California. There's a good chance we might have something coming up that's going to be a first look, or a kind of like coming soon, that maybe we can get you into. So I'd love to put you on that list for like kind of, back-ended properties here. And they're like, wow, really? Okay, great. And I get that email. And we do. Like we have agents all the time going on, hey, first look, or just come in or coming soon, and I'll send those to my clients and try to get them kind of off market, if a seller will do that.
I think that's key because buyers want that kind of service. So if you present that as an option and a superpower of yours, or hey, I can go digging for some houses that failed to sell last year that might be getting ready to come on the market, we can capture it first. Like, do you want me to go to work for you? Right. Is what you're saying.
And I think that's an important point because a lot of agents just set them up on a search and wait for them to call.
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't do that. Just send the search to yourself and filter them.
Yeah.
Correct. Come on. Look through pictures, look through, is this good for you? And
it's going to really work.
And then this all leads into what you said earlier, is just getting them into a buyer consultation.
Right.
The open house is the first key, and then you get them into that buyer consultation. It takes about an hour and a half. And that's when you sit them down.
But haven't you already talked to them basically and found out all that information at the buyer consultation or at the house that you would be talking about at a buyer consultation?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things you will be talking about separately, obviously, when you're talking about escrows and giving them a sample of what the purchase agreement looks like and going through those things. But establishing the relationship is great to be able to do that before you sit down with them.
And maybe connecting them with the lender and things like that.
Correct. Yeah, and that's kind of, that's everybody's first step is getting pre-approved. So it's more like, by the time they walk into that buyer consultation, you say, hey, did you get a chance to talk to Mike or Cameron or Bob or Dave or whoever the lender is? Did you get a chance to talk to them? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, great. Well, then we've got step one out of the way, qualifications. Right. Let's go to step two. So
actually, Brian, we have a great debate. You ready to be the tiebreaker?
I'm in.
All right. You have a buyer. They've been to the open house or not, it doesn't matter. Let's just say that they've been at the open house, and that doesn't really count as like a showing, right? You get them to a buyer consultation. Do you show a house or two before, would you show a house or two before you got them to the buyer consultation? Is that the right way?
If you got a call that said, I want to go see this house, and they were not on your radar to buy, would you go take them to see it?
I would go through almost like the 7 questions with them first and kind of qualify them. Number one, and one of those questions would be, where are you at with your qualification process in regards to financing?
Well, I'm not worried about it, Brian.
Hold on. We haven't done that yet because we just saw this house, and I think this house might, be the right house, and we just haven't started the process yet. Can we go see it?
If it's somewhere in my general vicinity, I'm not going to drive out an hour to do it. But if it's somewhere in my general vicinity, I'd probably say, let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and meet at the house? I'll show you the one property.
Good.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. I'll meet you at the property. But this is once I've qualified them with these questions. I'll go ahead and meet you at the property, and I'll bring some information for you that'll help you, with your search and getting qualified and those type of things. How does that sound?
What a waste of time, Brian.
No, listen.
Absolutely not. I've gotten a lot of clients like that done it. And the thing is, honestly, and I've told agents this all the time, new agents. I actually mentor agents and that type of stuff in our office. I did it when I was with a different brokerage, but if you were to right now for the next week, take out a notebook and every hour write down what you're doing, you're going to find in that notebook a ton of nothing.
Right.
So you might as well be showing a house.
A ton of nothing. Kind of what the hell else are you going to do?
Can we at least agree, if you're going to go and waste your time showing a house to somebody who's not yet qualified or not willing to get qualified and follow your process, but side note, can you at least door knock? Can you at least door knock and maybe go to some active listings and preview them? Can we agree on that?
Wait a minute, door knock around where you're showing?
Yeah, when you're done showing.
Well, absolutely.
So you don't just go out there for fun.
Absolutely. I would. If it's a neighborhood I don't know, you might do the 5 up, 5 down thing,
Yeah, 10 across. 10
houses. Yeah, 10 houses each side of the street, and just knock and say, hey, I was just showing a property, to your neighbor's house to a buyer of mine. Is it, do you guys need any help with anything? And no, what do you mean? Do we need any help? Well, I'm just wondering because we've got obviously buyers looking in this area and just wondering what your guys' plans are, type of thing. Absolutely. Make the most of your time out there. But like I said, why not go show them if you do have a gap and you're doing nothing other than eating lunch and watching the 3rd episode of whatever's on Netflix?
This is like a whole nother podcast.
It is. But hold on. But Jen, I've been thinking about this because this is our number one fight, I would say, in all of Real Estate Fight Club. This is the thing that always shows up that Jen and I disagree on. So Jen, I thought about this.
Okay.
Could you agree that a certain number of buyer consultations will lead to a certain number of closed buyer deals. Can we agree to that? That maybe it's for every 10 buyer consultations you do, you get one closing, or
are you counting a showing as a buyer consultation?
No. Just answer that question.
Yes.
Can we agree that, right? Okay.
Okay.
So if you are qualifying buyers, and I'm sorry, Brian, for this, but we need to have this conversation.
I'm just a fly on the wall at this point.
So if we are having an opportunity with a buyer who wants to go see a house, which then gives us the opportunity to build that rapport and have that buyer consultation at that house or in the driveway, or, hey, can we go meet at the coffee shop? Isn't that actually the best use of time, where versus you disqualifying them, saying, I'm not showing it to you until you get whatever, and you don't get a chance to do a buyer consultation with them?
Brian, what do you think?
Was that for me?
Anyone, but
absolutely.
Absolutely not.
If you have, no. If you, here we go. We're doing no Reddit.
I love it.
Here we go. So if you, again, have a hole in your time block that you're not doing anything on, what else are you doing?
That's right.
You should be prospecting for actual leads.
Prospecting. This is an active lead. There's an active lead in hand, because people go out there and spend thousands of dollars a month to buy leads, all this other crap, and all they got to do is pick up their phone and do circle prospecting or whatever it is for free, and these are people that own homes already. And if someone comes to you at no charge, reached out to you and said, hey, look, I just want to see this house. I saw it out there. I saw you on Zillow. I saw you. Sure. I said, I asked these qualifying questions from them, get some information. And some people are like, well, I don't want to give you that information. I said, well, I can't show you a house. I don't know you.
Exactly.
But if I get the information, I might say, do me a favor. I've got your phone number here. You can send me your email address. That'd be great. That way I can send information. I can confirm who you are, and then we can go take a peek. It's not intrusive. And especially if you're a woman showing homes, it's dangerous.
But not to mention, you do get the experience of seeing that house too. This is called inventory touring. Again, go find a buyer for it.
If you don't want a door knock around it, there's ways, whether it's REDX or it's on Cole Realty or whatever it is, to get all those homes around there, and you can put them into your dialer if you're dialing, and call and do a little circle prospecting around that house. Hey, I was just out there with a buyer this week. They're looking in the area. Yeah. And kind of get through scripts there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I think if that's how it went, that lovely bow tied, if that's how it really went, I could agree. But it's just not how it goes. What really happens is the person calls this, we'll call them a potential buyer. They're not really a lead yet. You don't know. This person, random person, probably a murderer, calls you and is like, I'm not giving you anything. I want you to Pop-Tart up and show me this house.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. If I can't get any information from them, I'm not going to go show them.
Don't go. Okay, we can agree on that. And I think there is like a range.
Be clear that my scenario does not mean I'm Pop-Tarting up out of my chair. There are questions.
I'm out. Let's go. It's a fresh lead. Here we go.
You're not going without information either.
Yeah, I'm going to get information from basic information, of course.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not going to not go once I get the information, just because there's someone that just called me and then maybe they're not going to buy. I'm going to call.
Well, I think where our line is I'm not going to go if there's no proof of financial ability to pay, or there's no semblance. If they're not following your process now, because you know the process. If they're not following your process now, the chances of them being easy to work with and easy to do business are very low.
We're not arguing about that, Jen. We're not arguing that they're not following the process. My process is that I will show them one home, and then I will require a buyer consultation.
What's the difference between them walking into my open house or following my process? They've walked into my open house just as if I showed them the home. They haven't followed the process up to the point where they walked my open house. They walked in.
Yeah, but the open house, so that's what I'm saying. If you're going to do it and you're going to show the one house or two houses or whatever your process is, also maximize that time. At an open house, I'm also
maximizing the time
and hoping you maximize your time, that you're putting up the 70 signs or at least 10, right? You're putting up directionals, you've called in the neighbors, or you've done something you've marketed the property, you're taking these questions, converting leads, like you're doing something. If you're going to go show it, then also preview active listings, go door knocking, do something else.
Well, yeah, but the original, if we go back to whatever we were when we were beating each other up at the beginning of this, it was, are you going to show the person the home or not? That was the original premise of the whole thing.
That's right.
Yes. And then you go into now seven questions. Next question. What am I going to do once those people drive away? Okay, I'm going to go knock on some doors. I'm going to do some circle prospecting. But this gives me the opportunity to be in that neighborhood maybe I wouldn't be in before, meet somebody maybe I didn't meet before. And hey, it's a 2% chance you're going to buy that house, whatever it is. Maybe I've had clients I've done that with, walk up, get them qualified, and they buy the house. So it's happened very rare, but it's almost the same exact percentage as if I buy 100 Facebook leads. I get one person. Right. It's a long-term lead. It's like not going to buy for 2 years. I just spent Facebook leads. I might have spent $1,000 or something. It's like, why not just drive? I know gas prices are brutal, but why not drive 10 miles, show them a house, and then
like, hey, can you pick me up? Yeah.
Pick me up.
No picking anybody up.
It's our favorite thing to fight with our guests. Yeah, don't pick anybody up.
All right. I think that's going to have to be the end of this battle. Brian, I am so sorry that you had to be a part of this today.
But
we're not within technical reach, so I'm good.
You brought so many great ideas and just a mindset as much as the questions, which were really good, but a mindset.
You just got to get out and do it. That's a big thing.
Tell us about, I know you have a very active referral network with agents across the country. Yeah. Obviously, if somebody has a referral for you in Southern California, tell us how to get in touch with you. But if they want to create a referral relationship with you, because a lot of people are moving from California to other places, how can we get in touch with you?
I mean, best way, I reach out to you guys originally through Instagram. And you go to @AgentBRealtor on Instagram. The same thing on TikTok, @AgentBRealtor on TikTok. I mean, I think I put a video up almost every day talking about, buying or selling for agents, that type of thing. A lot of stuff on it. Plus, people will see my, my cigar and my whiskey habit too. Sorry about that.
Hey.
Nice.
Or the Ducks game we were at last night. So, but it's really important to reach out of state, especially because I've been talking to realtors a lot now, and I've got about 1,200 realtors on my database. It's a pretty big database, and they get my weekly email I send out to my clients. I'm starting to add a secondary and third email on that they get to ask them to send me their listings, because I've had clients that are looking out of state. Now they've got a link to a listing, and I can hook them up with that agent.
Nice.
But the number one blowback I get from an agent is, well, I don't have a lot of people going to California. And I say, exactly. They're not coming to California. They're coming to you. Yeah. And what they do is they go on to Redfin or Realtor or wherever, and they look you up and see Bob Jones in Alabama, and they need to sell here in Southern California. And so you need somebody that's a trusted partner in Southern California that'll make sure that I can get the deal done here so that it's a smooth transition for you to close out there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And basically what I do is once I reach out to people, I just send them my Calendly. Once we've kind of agreed it sounds like a good idea, we got a 15-minute, phone call, and I did 3 of them yesterday, and just make sure we're a good fit for each other. And if we are, then say, great, I'd love to, hopefully I'll be talking to you in the future. I've done over a dozen deals in the last couple of years, just like that, with people reaching out to me, or I've reached out to them. And hey, do you work in the Fort Worth area? Yeah, great. I've got somebody for you. Can you take care of this client? And these are, now you're qualifying an agent, just like you're qualifying a buyer.
Right.
Because I've had so many clients that go, hey,
that's a good podcast. The question, 7 critical question to ask your referral partners.
Your referral partner.
I mean, mine's just kind of off the cuff. So, but the important thing is that I've had so many clients that moved out of state that just grabbed, honestly, some knucklehead off of Zillow, and I'm sitting here closing on their house, and they're coming to me going, can you help us? Can you call our agent, because they've just totally disappeared, or they're doing this? I'm like going, that's an uncomfortable conversation for me. I gotta call somebody and tell them to get their together.
Yeah,
because we're closing here in a week, and they still haven't contacted my client and done a final walkthrough and all these things. So I'd rather put them with a trusted partner that I meet, whether it's on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, and we've had a conversation. They sound like they're a go-getter. They sound like they're honest. They sound like they do some business. And even I get a lot of people like, I just started in the business. I said, hey, I just like your energy.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, it's not a problem.
I love your energy. I know that if you've got in the business, you got nothing going on. You got lots of times for my clients.
Yeah.
And you're going to show them a house without being qualified.
Oh, geez.
Oh!
Coming back to that.
Shots fired.
All right. I think that's going to have to be the end of the day. Brian, amazing stuff. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode of Real Estate Fight Club. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Be sure to keep an eye out for us on our social media, Real Estate Fight Club podcast, social media, TikTok.
That's a
Reels,
lot.
Insta Twitter. That's what you always call it.
Twitter, whatever.
And if you're an agent and you want to find out more about how you can partner with Monica and I at EXP, feel free to give me a call or text at 513-400-1691. Thank you, Brian, so much. We appreciate you being on.
Thank you, Brian.
That was great. Thanks a lot.